Hey, what's up classic movie and TV fans? My name is Rick9G. Thank you so much for joining me today. We're going to be talking about the 1931 movie Frankenstein, starring of course Boris Karloff. And we're going to get into it because this is the month of the fall season. Halloween is rapidly approaching. I'm kicking off my 9G monster special where I'm going to have a few videos here and there with the horror slash Halloween theme. So I hope you enjoy this. This video could be watched during this season or any other season. So I hope you enjoy it. Let me know if you want to see more from the 9G monster special. Without further ado, let's get right to it and look at the bloopers from this movie. Just a friendly note that if you haven't seen this movie, there will be some spoilers in regards to the plot and different characters because of course I have to talk about what's going on. I will be jumping around here and there and in no particular order. Let's look at the part where the Frankenstein monster is first revealed to us. He comes in and he makes an about face to us. He enters a room with Dr. Frankenstein as well as Dr. Waldman. Now look on the left hand side. I'll point it out to you as the monster is walking from left to right. On the left hand side you will see the shadow of a crew member moving on a pillar as the camera follows him. Now one could say that maybe this is a ghost or ghoul, and I think that's the explanation that I want to go with. What do you think? Now moving on to the second blooper, this is probably my favorite of the entire movie. We see essentially the climax, the time where the monster is about to be animated for the first time, and we have Dr. Frankenstein starting to hoist the gurney up to the roof of the castle. And as we see on the left hand side, I'll point it to you, this is the top of the head of a crew member, and he's kind of hiding behind this type of curtain and looking down at a piece of equipment. It could very well be a camera or some type of monitor that he's using to look at the action of what's happening. It's really odd to see it here, but they didn't notice that he would pop up during the shoot. We move to a point where the monster is trying to get the torch out of Henry Frankenstein's hands. Now Dr. Waldman is there to give him that injection, but as they're tossing and turning with that torch, look closely, I'll point out to you, I'll circle it, you can see Boris Karloff, who played the monster, his makeup begins to smoke. There's a puff of smoke that appears when the torch grazes his head. It's really interesting, and essentially everything on his face, it became like a bit of a flammable puff. Jumping to the end of the movie, take a look at this backdrop that they use when they're trying to find the Frankenstein monster, when he's kind of just running amok in essence with the mob quickly on his tail. Take a look at the background. I'll note it too. You'll see these vertical lines. That's because this is a canvas material type backdrop, and what it does, essentially these are the folds in it, these are the creases in it, and if it were a real sky, a real background, then they wouldn't be present. Now going back to the time when we're at the laboratory, there's some people waiting outside. Now check it out, there's a lot of rain, there's thunder, lightning, and all this stuff. A huge storm happening. But when Dr. Frankenstein opens the door to let everyone in, everyone's clothes are dry. Maybe they had waterproof clothing. Or, on the other hand, maybe it was just a blooper. Now the ending scene is so epic where we have the Frankenstein monster with Dr. Frankenstein in that gigantic windmill and the mob outside, and they start to set fire to the windmill. But before that happens, you will notice that the monster throws Dr. Frankenstein essentially off the windmill. But if you look very closely, you will notice it's not really the actor, it's not really Dr. Frankenstein. Nope, it's just a dummy. One of the pivotal parts of the movie, one that many people remember, is the drowning of the little girl. Now, we all know the scene where the father carries her body into town and exclaims to everyone that she was murdered. Now, really think about this, because if we go back to what happened, the monster actually tosses her into the water. It's an innocent moment. There's no malice on his behalf. More like he was a bit naive, didn't really know what was going on. How would the father know that she was murdered? How did he not conclude that she simply drowned from getting too close to the water while playing, since the creature tossed her in and left? Now, I don't know about all of you, but I really enjoy the character of Fritz, played by Dwight Frye. He was amazing. Now, after the monster kills Fritz, he is hanging from a rope. We can see him in the background. Now, when everybody leaves the room, there's a little bit of time that passes by, but really no one had time to go in there. The camera goes back, and where he was once hung, well, his body is no longer there. I wonder what happened. A good theory is that the monster actually got rid of him, ate him, I guess. But I don't know about that. It is quite possible that Fritz maybe wasn't dead in the long run, or this could have just been a great big blooper. Now, the last blooper I have for you is one that you're all gonna love, and let me tell you something, it is very classy. Now, what do you mean by that? Well, I'll explain. Go back earlier in the film when Henry is holding the monster's hand. Now, he's telling Fritz that there's nothing that he has to be afraid of in regards to the monster. Take a look at what we think right now is the monster, aka played by Boris Karloff. Notice he's wearing a dress shoe here, and it's seen on the body's foot. Why a criminal or the monster would have a dress shoe? Well, think about it. It is Boris Karloff, and what else would he wear other than a dress shoe? Such a cool blooper to see in this movie. Well, that's it for this video, classic movie fans. Thank you for joining me in this first 9G monster special. I really hope you enjoyed it. I totally enjoyed making it as well. If you're a fan of classic TV shows and movies, I have over 1,400 videos focusing on TV shows, some movies as well. I think you will be pleasantly surprised. We'll see you next time. No matter what, always remember to stay positive, always better yourself, and most importantly, be hopeful. A big thank you especially to my Diamond tier patrons, Kevin K, David D, Vito L, Sally N, Citizen Kane 359, Ricky, and honorary Patreon Verbal Volley. If you want to become a patron member, links are down below in the description. Thank you.